Today's stat of the day is 61. That's the number of the day today, 61. And I need you to drink your brisk iced tea and get ready for a boxing match because I know you're ready to bring this one. 61, that's the number of AP top 25 voters when it comes to college basketball. And out of those 61, 60 of them said Arizona Wildcats are the number one team in the country. Only one chose Iowa State. Both of them are 16-0. Arizona is the number one team in the country. Iowa State, number two in the country. You are an Iowa State Cyclones fan. There's no doubt about that.
That's true.
Nick, tell me, why is Iowa State being disrespected here and why you think they actually deserve to be the best team in the country?
I'm actually going to push back on you a little bit here.
Wow.
A little bit, not a lot. Iowa State is very capable of being the number one team in the country, but they are not the number one team in the country right now. Looking at Iowa State versus Arizona, they are eerily similar. I saw this tweet make its way across my timeline the other day. Both Arizona and Iowa State are 16-0, 5-0 in Q1, 4-0 in Q2, and 7-0 in Q3. So, like, literally the same top to bottom. Iowa State does have a better strength of record, and they should be number one, like, in that category. But the offensive production for Iowa State has not been there as of late. They started the year a significantly different team. I don't have the tweet in front of me that has the stats because there's, college basketball fans are awesome. They have all these crazy stats out there. But Iowa State was like number two in this specific whatever, and they did look phenomenal. Like, they put up 100 points, and, Milan is one of the best shooters in the nation right now. They are a very, 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 very good basketball team. But offensively, over the last few games, I feel like they've struggled, and specifically in the first half. Meanwhile, Arizona, who have they played? All right. Kansas State, maybe not the best team on the planet. But they still have looked very, very solid. They look solid. So, to argue Iowa State should be number one, I won't make that argument. I won't. They are capable of being number one. They need to prove it back to me, though. They've got a few games. They've got, obviously, Kansas on the road. That would be a major win. If more than anything else, because of the rivalry. Right now, Kansas kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie.
They're not looking great.
They don't look very good. That they somehow beat TCU. That was a crazy collapse, and that was just one of them ones that I watched recently. But I think Iowa State's capable. They have one of the best trios in the nation in Jefferson, Lipsey, and Momcilovic. They have maybe one of, I think I would argue, top two, top three head coaches in the country in Otzelberger. They have the depth. They have everything. They just need to find a way to get a couple more points on the board. Their defense is phenomenal. But, man, is their offense kind of struggling right now. We could be looking at an undefeated, potentially, Arizona versus Iowa State matchup in like a couple months. I think it's like the very beginning of March that they square off. And that would be maybe one of the greatest basketball games of all time. But I know Iowa State's very focused on just who's in front of them. Next game, next practice, next 5 minutes, next 30 seconds. That's how this team operates. And so, I'm focused on Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse.
Yeah, Kansas is going to be an interesting game. Kansas hasn't been very good at all. On the flip side, when it comes to Arizona, you're right. I mean, they've been a good team. Don't get me wrong. They beat the defending national champs in Florida. Florida's not the same team that they were the past season, though. And then, of course, there's a couple other teams that they won. I think they beat UCLA. They did beat UConn. UConn's a big win for sure. They've had a couple big wins for sure. They beat Auburn. They beat Alabama. You guys beat Purdue, though, on the road. That was incredibly tough. That was incredible. A lot of people did not expect Purdue to go down that early, and that in the way you did it, 81-58. That was incredible, for sure. I think the game against Kansas, obviously, a lot of people think that could be potentially a trap game. That one's tonight, 6:00 Pacific time. So I guess 9:00. It's a late one. 9:00 Eastern time on ESPN. So a good one to check out that one for college basketball. On the flip side, Arizona's got some good games coming up as well. Could you imagine if that game actually did happen, where they went all the way through March and they both went undefeated? It would probably be the best game. I'm not betting on that. I think they're going to have a couple losses. The Big 12 is absolutely insane. These teams are going to lose basketball games. The Big 12 is just way too good for that to say it. And these are perfect examples. The Big 12 conference has the number 1 and number 2 team in the country right now.
Hey, quick timeout. If you haven't already, hit subscribe down below. We're live literally every morning during the week talking about the biggest stories in sports. So you hitting subscribe is completely free and helps us out more than you know. It's a win-win all around. All right, back to the clip. Yeah, and I think that's the best way to look at this, right? Like, Michigan hasn't looked very good recently, but there was that run right around like the Players Era tournament where I don't know if the Avengers could have beaten them. Like, they were just unstoppable. And that's what happens in basketball. You're going to have stretches of very, very good play, stretches of, ooh, that was kind of rough. We didn't really make any buckets and we kind of forgot how to play. Like, that's just what happens when you play all of these games. And so Iowa State's going to have that. They're going to have a few games where they're not going to look great. And Audie Crooks, obviously Iowa State women's basketball, said this. I believe it was after their loss to Baylor, so their first of the season. They've gone on a skid since, but neither here nor there. You don't want to peak in January. You want to peak in March. And so if Iowa State comes out and starts the season 25-0 and they win every game by 85 points, and then they forget how to play ball and they lose in the first round of the playoffs or the tournament, doesn't matter, right? It's completely irrelevant. And if they don't make like a Big 12 title game or a Big 12 championship, tournament, what was all of that for? Like, you had the greatest start to the season. Awesome. But they don't really hang a lot of banners for that. So I think that there has to be an element too of both Arizona and Iowa State are probably going to see a dip in production at some point. If this is Iowa State's dip, I feel really good about that. And then obviously it'll come back up and they'll be one of the best teams undoubtedly. But if this isn't if they take even a dip from here, I'm not going to panic because it's not March. I would be very terrified if they started to see a deep dip offensively or defensively come March. But for now, it's still January 13th. Like, we don't have to panic yet. I'm okay with putting Arizona at 1. But as we get closer to March, Iowa State, we're fighting for a 1 seed right now. So like, these games still matter, but you just got to take it game by game and understand that basketball is very much a game of runs, both in the games, but also in the season as well.
I think we might have a Big 12 tournament that might be more impressive than the NCAA tournament itself with all these teams: Houston, BYU, Arizona, Iowa State, Texas Tech, how great those teams are. I think all of those are currently in the top 15 in the AP top 25 right now. They're all going to be battling for one Big 12 championship game. And then, oh, by the way, there'll be a March Madness tournament after that. That's the insane part. Iowa State 16-0 start, best in program history. They're going to take on the Kansas Jayhawks tonight, who are currently 11-5. They just lost to West Virginia and Morgantown. This is not a normal Bill Self team. This is a team that could be missing the tournament, let alone not being ranked 11-5. You just don't hear that from Kansas, especially what they've had with their big recruits, potentially the number 1 pick in the NBA draft coming up. It'll be interesting. This could be, is this a trap game? I mean, this could be a trap game at Allen Fieldhouse for sure.
I don't know. Is it a trap game or is it just a tough game? Like, that's kind of how I see it. I think it was one I circled, and looking at their schedule, like, Iowa State does have a weird kind of schedule, in my opinion, other than this Kansas game and then another Kansas game on February 14th. They don't really play a lot of tough competition. It's the Big 12. Every game is tough, but it's like Cincinnati, UCF, Oklahoma State again, Colorado, Kansas State, who looks like a middle school team right now, Baylor, TCU. It's like, okay, who is that? And then to end the season, this is where they're going to be tested, and this is where you have to peak at the right time. They have Kansas again at home, Houston at home, BYU, who looks like they might be the 3rd best team in the nation behind Arizona and Iowa State, and they'll be at BYU, who has one of the craziest free throw shooting situations I've ever seen. They've got multiple of those flimsy car dealership guys. I don't know how that's allowed. I don't think I could ever make a single free throw there. And then they'll play Utah on the road, Texas Tech at home, Arizona. That's the game we've been talking about. And then Arizona State. So the final, 2, 4, 6, 7-ish, 8 games to end the season, Iowa State is going to be tested like crazy. There's a chance. Like, you beat this Kansas team, you get another 2, 4, 5, 6 games in there. They have a crazy start to the season. Like I said, they start like 26-0. But it's going to come down to, how does the end of the season go? Can you peak at the exact right time? So trap game against Kansas? Maybe. Honestly, I don't even really care. Like, win the game, don't win the game. You're going to learn from it. If you lose, if you win, momentum carries on. Let's get the next one. But man, is that end of the season going to be rough. Hey, just wanted to thank you for watching the entire video. If you haven't already, consider hitting subscribe down below. It helps the channel grow and helps us bring better content to you guys every single day. We're live literally every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 Eastern, talking about the biggest stories in sports. So if you haven't dropped by, you really should. We love interacting with chatters, hearing your guys' opinions. You could easily become a part of the show. So hit subscribe and tell a friend. I'll see you in the morning.